Welcome to the studio, where colors come alive, where miniature worlds and ancient tales thrive. Brush in hand, we paint what's been untold, legends of the past in hues so bold. In the depths of lore, we shape the unknown, angels and demons, old gods overthrown. We bring matter of age, our heroes shine bright, and miniature mythos, where dreams take flight. Exploring hidden lore, where tales ignite, painted models shining bright, every color shared, every story sworn, and miniature mythos where legends are born. Every figure crafted, from orcs to vampires bite. We blend the lore, let stories take flight. We wash in the weird, the wondrous, the wild, in every painted stroke where magic's compiled. Through realms unknown and mystical sights, our brush blends legends with epic fights. From shadowed myths to stars we trace, and miniature mythos we find our place. Exploring hidden lore where tales ignite, painted models shining bright, every color shared, every story sworn, and miniature mythos where legends are born. From candles flicker to the screen's bright hue, we glaze through the fantastical view. Every layer of paint, every tale we weave, and miniature mythos wonders never leave. Join the quest through realms of light and shade, in the world we craft where dreams are laid. With lore and brushwork our palette expands, and miniature mythos where imagination stands. Exploring hidden lore where tales ignite, painted models shining bright, every color shared, every story sworn, and miniature mythos where legends are born. So grab your brush, let the legends unfold, and miniature mythos where magic's bold. We bring that of age and the worlds we frame, we paint the adventure where fantasies aflame. The legends are born.
This should be better. Yes. Well, all good things, all good things have some issues at first. So yeah. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Miniature Mythos. It's been a while. I hope you can all hear me right now, and it's all rather clear and all that, because I haven't touched any of these things in months. And yeah, it's been a while. Like I said, it's weird to be back. Not that I'm saying that I'm back. I just want to say that I'm, first of all, very surprised that there's already like 2 people in here. First of all, on Twitch we have Teleport. Teleport, hey, how are you doing? And on YouTube we have Hippocratic Oath, which, it's kind of a problem. It's not a problem that either of you are here. The thing is, I should get both of you on the same screen, and I'm not getting you there, so that's not great. So that's what I mean, like there is a lot of things just not working great, and I have no idea what the reason for that is, because I have done a lot of things. What I want to do today, first of all, is just, if you guys have any questions for me, what I'm doing here, what's happening, I don't know, ask me. Just ask me about what you're wondering about, where I've been, what's happened, and I will try to provide an answer as best as I can. And second of all, I'm just going to paint a bit of my army, because I have like an army, a match coming up, a Warhammer match coming up, and I still have to paint a bit more on my army. I'm not gonna finish it because it's just too little too late, but I still want to, you know, get everything going. I'll move to my left. Okay. Is it because I'm looking at you over there, Hippocratic Oath, that you're thinking like, okay, you should switch over there? It's really weird. Like, it says it's connected with the YouTube chat, so normally that would make it so that the Twitch chat is also over there, but it's not doing it. It's really weird. Maybe if I do this? Ah, maybe this is it. Yes, I think I'm getting there. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if someone on YouTube wants to send another message, that would be great. Then I can actually see if it pops up now. If it doesn't, then I'll multitask. It's no problem. But yeah, like I said, what I'm going to be doing is paint some miniatures, and you can just ask me questions. I have a lot to tell, because a lot has happened in the last few weeks and months, and is arguably still happening. And I know that stuff is like, I kind of disappeared, I guess. My content is still coming out so like every week I have my audiobooks. Oh, okay, yeah, now it's there. Now I can see Hippocratic Oath on the teleprompter as well, so great success. But yeah, there's just a lot of stuff that's been going on, and I don't know where to start. So if you guys have any question for me, let me know. I'll try to get into it as quickly as possible. But in the meantime, I'll just be painting a bit. So just enjoy the vibes, enjoy watching me paint, and we'll get there in the end. Why do you look normal? I expected you to look like HPL. That's a very good question. To be honest, we never know. Or we never knew or could confirm that H.P. Lovecraft wore Godzilla t-shirts, so he could very well have. But yeah, I look rather normal. Kidding, you have a great reading voice. Yes, you can see that about me, that I have a really good reading voice. But thank you for saying so. Yeah. That's actually one of the reasons why I started doing this, because people said that I have a very good reading voice, and I wanted to, use that for something. So I'm just going to quickly drag everyone over here. From hearing your readings. I know, Max, it's okay. I'm just making fun. I'm really awkward as well, so let's see if I can... That looks great. That looks like it's doing what it's supposed to do. Okay. Let's not do that for a second. Like, I'm getting back into this and everything's breaking down. It's amazing. Let's try that again. Yep, that looks great. you know, maybe nothing happens here in this stream, so let's just enjoy that. All the Cthulhu-esque things are happening already, so that's great. Like, I don't even know what's happening here, man. Okay, let's first do that. Let's activate it again. Oh, nothing. That's great. I assumed Walloon's raid occurred and they burned down the doghouse and mailbox. A very likely story. You know what? I'm going to, first of all, disable that thing already because it's going to give everyone a headache. Now I'm gonna see about this one. It's really weird because I haven't done anything special, I'd say, but everything seems to be breaking down. Like, why isn't this one doing anything? It should be doing something. Oh, okay, there it is. Wow, yeah, that's definitely what it's supposed to be showing. Well, it actually is, so... we at least already have that, so... I'm going to hide this. And that way... you can at least see what I'm trying to paint. But no, the balloons didn't get me, so don't worry. They haven't fixed me yet. Looks a bit clustered. As you can see, I have a Tomb King army, so basically mummies. Mummies undead on undead horses, undead cards, and the like. I am going to try and give them all a bit more color today, so I can actually show up on Saturday and make kind of an impression. Like, these are just like, these are cool cards, but you know, they're completely primed, so just normal color. The thing with Tomb Kings is that you can actually just, you know, prime them in a sand-based color and it will, you know, show enough of what they're supposed to be. Okay, let's see if I can get back into this thing. Like I said, it's been a while. I have done a lot of things. Had to do a lot of things, not always with the greatest of success, not always with the greatest of fun. Yeah, shit happens, I guess. For those of you who don't know, the biggest of those things was my father passing away. So the fact that he passed away was a big setback for me. And my family, of course. So that happened at the end of March, beginning of April. And ever since then, it's just been a spiral of bad luck and having to figure out what to do and how to go about it and stuff like that. And yeah, it's kind of been like a never-ending story in that part, so... I'm gonna use some turquoise. As you can see, I've already used some turquoise on these models, like the flag and all that. So I'm just going to continue using some turquoise, and I think if I can add two colors to it, either turquoise, not either, both turquoise and gold or bronze, they'll look a lot more presentable already. So yeah. This is also a completely ad hoc stream. Like a couple minutes ago, I didn't even know I was going to stream. Or hadn't decided yet if I was going to stream. Just because I am feeling so terrible lately. So yeah, now that I'm here, let's go. So everyone who is here, thank you for being here. Thank you for seeing the notification and be like, hey, Miniature Mifos is there, Christoph is there. Let's go and say hi. So I really appreciate that you guys still remember me even after this long. Although I must say, of course, you guys, well, the ones who are following me on YouTube, you guys hear me like every week, so... Condolences. Thank you, Max. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a lot. You never quite realize what you have till it's gone. And the same goes with you know, parents. It's been rough. Let's put it like that. Just gonna paint all of their loincloths in turquoise. But yeah, I've talked about that on the channel, like in the community posts. I've given some info about that. I even did a reading in honor of my father. I kind of looked for a story that he really liked and narrated that. And yeah. Now I'm still going through the whole inheritance phase and having to tell some businesses like, hey, yes, my dad's dead, can you please stop sending me bills? He's not gonna pay them anymore. He also doesn't need your services anymore, so please kindly go away. How have you guys been? Like Hippocratic Oath, Max, Teleport, how have you guys been in quote-unquote my absence? I can also feel it's been a while since I've painted. Like, I feel I have way less control over my paintbrush than I used to have. It's also because I'm stressed, man. It's huge, the stress. Hey Rexy, welcome in. How you doing? As you can see, I've decided to press go live again. I am not particularly great, but I'm managing, so let's go with that. I feel that, yeah. I know, and it's much appreciated, and it's one of my own. It's one of my biggest faults is not being able to, you know, call on help whenever it's offered. So I have to work on that. You know. And actually, it's just at the moment. I'm making strides. Like, I had a horrible day, and I thought, hey, I still have to do my recording for this weekend. I still have to do this, still have to do that, and in the end I cut back on a lot of the ideas of I still have to. Like, it's a shorter story that I chose for this weekend. It's already an hour later than I normally stream, but I am here, and I did find, like, the courage to go live again, and that means a lot. It's that first hurdle, you know? That first hurdle of getting back into something, or just starting something, that is always the hardest. And once you've done it, quote-unquote, the hardest part is over, so it's good to see you live. Yeah, well, it's good to be live as well. It's been a hot minute, and like, I like doing this. I really do. It's that I often forget that I like doing this, and then I don't, and then I'm like, well, that wasn't fun to do. But it's mostly my fears and my anxieties around it that talked then. But yeah, I'm here. I'm just going to chill a bit. It's a bit of an Ask Me Anything Q&A. If people want to ask about what I've been up to, these last few weeks, this last few months, or just want to know about me in general, then they're welcome to do so. So if there's any nasty secrets you want to extract from me, now's your chance. By the way, I loved the horror in the museum. I feel like your voice is bringing the character more and more to life as you make the videos. Yeah, I have my moments in that. Like, sometimes I overact, I'd say. A friend of mine just sent me a message. He was like listening to From Beyond, which I did months ago, if maybe not a year ago. And he was like, oh man, this one dude's totally going insane, and I can even hear it in his voice. I don't just have to listen to what he's saying. Like, you're portraying insanity in his voice perfectly. I'm like, yeah, if I'm just gonna deadpan him, then that's not gonna be really clear that he is crazy. But yeah, I do try to emote a bit. Like, whenever I look online to voice acting jobs and ideas, then or you know, positions, people are always like immediately like, hey, if you just hear that you have a nice voice, don't bother with applying. We need voice actors, not just voices. So if you can't act, then don't bother. And I'm like, okay, maybe I should try to put some acting into my voices as well. So that's what I'm trying to do when doing readings. The thing is, I run into the natural barrier of it being written text. Not a lot of people actually talk the way they're written in a book. So acting can sound really clanky at times. Hey, Custard Sire, welcome in. And what am I painting? My Tomb Kings. So this is my Warhammer army. These are basically Egyptian mummies who have come back through necromancy. And on Saturday I have a war game against a friend of mine. And I noticed that, shit, these are mostly just based, which means they have a base color, they're not hashtag based, like the kids say. And I'm going to try and give them some color at least, so they look a bit prettier on the battlefield. So yeah, I'm mostly going to do the turquoise, I'm going to do the weapons in browns, and maybe do a white thing here. Ulterior War in pretty blue, what is it? It's turquoise. It's Hydra Turquoise by Army Painter War Paints. That's the blue that I'm using. Gotta look fab to battle, absolutely. Can I interest you in something better than paint water? You can. If you don't mind, I'd like to have a coffee or just water, please. A bottle of water. Bottle of water. I'm not mocking Shifty or Axie. Please don't think that I'm doing that. But yeah, I'm in a big Warhammer mood lately. I always do it to him. Is it speed paint? No, Ronin. It's not speed paint. This is actually the normal paint. So I'm applying it. I'm applying the first layer now, and I could still layer it afterwards. I don't know if I'm gonna do that tonight because, like I said, this is just a quick paint job to get most of these minis out on the battlefield on Saturday. But I can still layer them. These minis have been primed, based and shaded before, so must be annoying to paint with a camera in between. Actually no, I am. Yeah, I don't know how to explain this, but I am sitting like there. I'm. Like, it's a triangle. It's a triangle. The camera is basically at eye level to me, but it's straight above the miniatures, and I'm like at an angle to them. So it's not actually in the way. Oof, do the mummies have a laundromat? No. So I am going to dirty it up. Like, this is a more completed mod. Shit. Can't see it if it's not going to. Like, this is already a bit more completed. It was kind of a, let's say, proof of concept that I was trying. But yeah, that is basically what I'm gonna try and do with the others. More or less. I also want to emphasize these aren't official models because I 3D print a lot of things. These are sculpted by someone else. I forget who the sculptors are, but then I, you know, buy the 3D models, print them, and paint them. These are a great alternative for the actual official ones, I think. Looking good. Thank you. It looks cool. Thank you. Hi there, I have a question. How would you paint a Skitarii Ranger? As in what my preferred color scheme is, or how would I go about it technique-wise? Because color scheme, I don't know, I think for a Skitarii Ranger, I would definitely go for warm colors. I might not do, I mean, the kind of paints and technique. That's a hard one. I definitely go with metal for that one, because if you have to do all the metal parts with non-metallic metal, then you'll be busy for ages. And yeah, my coffee is here. Thank you.
So weird.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. I've coffee, yes. I'm thinking about your question. Personally primed on black and dry brush metallic bits. Yeah, starting from black, sure. But only dry brushing? The thing is, I'm not a big fan of metal being like silver, like typically metal colored. I don't like metal being, you know, I like metal to be copper or have a coppery tinge to them. So most of the time I do use like base metallic paints, like for example this one. This is basically lead belcher. This is Games Workshop's lead belcher. This is the army painter variety. It's gunmetal. And then I use shades on them. So just use a very thinned out flesh shade, and then you get like a nice coppery ring to it. I feel it's much more fun to look at than just silver. That's just me. But yeah, dry brushing, heavy shades, especially because even if you're not using the Martian red, I would dust them very hard. So my way is this: Corax white for the base coat, then Ball red for the cloak, then Agrax Earthshade for the red cloak, and then highlight it with Evil Sun Scarlet. That's a good way to do it. Using Corax white, you're getting a very light shade of red, of course. especially with the ball red on it. Most of the time I go with gray or black for a base coat. I don't know, I feel like the color is then way more saturated for some reason. Like with a white base coat, sometimes I'd go with that. But I often feel like my color isn't, it's too translucent. Get it? Like the white is shining through, and then I'd layer more color on top of it, and it'll look horrible in the end. So, well, not that it looks horrible in the end, it's just like I feel like I would have done way more work for the same result. But yeah, your red is basically the same. I'm just thinking if I have something red here. So I have done these cultists from Cthulhu Death May Die. And yeah, they were painted, they were base or primed red. And I just did, what did I do? It's of course the army painter colors. Shit. Okay, I'm sorry. It's like pure red. I pureed them, pure red, and then yeah, shaded it. Went with more red on it. Then Mars red. Mars red is of course a way to emulate the Skitarii red. And then, you know, of course, like mythical orange on it for some edge highlights, like you see here at the bottom of his cloak. So you get like a nice way that the color falls and all that. This is also not a completely finished model. This was just like a quick thing to do on stream. Null oil for the highlights of the metal parts. Null oil is a given. It's a fact of life. We can't go about life without null oil, and every couple times that you use null oil, you just have to throw it on the ground and spill it all over your desk, just to appease the Chaos Gods. I'm using, again, Army Painter's washes, because at a certain point there was like this promo that you can get like all their paints, and I just did it. And I got more washes, so they have like stuff like this. Strong tone. Strong tone is basically Nuln oil. No. Strong tone is Agrax. Dark tone is Nuln. And they have all the other washes as well. You could do a lot with that, so. Oils do a wonder on Skitarii for an overall weathering. Absolutely. I am going to take a look if I have something here within reach. I don't think I have one. No. That would show more things. I don't. I do have my Dark Angel commander here. Like, he also has a red cloak, so this would be the same way that I would do the cloak on Skitarii. Maybe it's a bit too dark for the Skitarii, to be honest. I would think I'd leave the darkest red out of it, and maybe go one step higher towards the orange in the end. So, yeah. This is something I did off stream just because I was reading a bit of Warhammer books, and I was like, hey, you know what? I feel like painting Warhammer again. 40k then, so I just quickly threw this together. I was like, yeah, okay, you know, Was a fun evening of just me painting this dude. Looks nice. Thank you. I haven't spilled Null oil yet, but the mailman hit my window on my door, almost breaking it, and it startled me, making me drag my brush of Corex white paint pot off my desk. Holy shit. Do the base though. No. If there's if there's one thing I don't like doing, it's bases. I don't know why. Honestly, I don't know why. But I have like this aversion to doing bases. Also, this is my Tomb King. I'm just gonna clear the road so it might actually focus on it. You can see there's like a lot of influence from Nagash in here. Which, you know, it's Nagash, so why not? So, very colorful. Yeah. I like them to be colorful, so... Want to know something funny with a base I realized I can do? Tell me. Yeah, stick sand to your Tomb Boys. I will stick sand to my Tomb Boys. Very colorful. Yeah, it's because I feel like if you are, you know, an unliving skeleton and you have like the pompousness of, you know, a king in life, like even if your troops are rotting in front of your eyes in the desert sun, you'd be like, hey dude, fix your outfits. Like, we're not the barbarians from the old world. Well, we are actually the old world, of course. But we're not the barbarians from the north who live in the muck. So clean up your stuff, make sure your weapons are maintained. Make sure that all of our gold shines. Like, there's a couple of these like anecdotes of Tomb Kings who still, you know, eat grapes even though they can't even eat them and they just turn to dust in their mouths. So I do building work, so I get offcuts of wooden panels and tiles so I can make my figures stand on an actual floor. That is really cool. Looky, that's a really cool way to do that. But, that's why you made the band-aids bright white, like, do change those rusty ass. Yeah, they're like, shit, man, why are you're wearing that old-ass shit? Pick up some new threads. Like, clean yourself up. Just noticed this dude doesn't have a head yet. Well, you know, he doesn't have a head. Period. Also, my Tomb King rides a cat-drawn chariot. So, want to show that. By the way, apparently the UK's most venomous spider bit me twice 2 nights ago, but it's only given me a rash. Well, you know, that could say one of either two things. It's you're an absolute boss and you made that spider your bitch, or the UK's most venomous spider is not really all that, so... Also, I don't think the UK has like spiders that are in need of having venom to, you know, tackle big prey. It's not like we're living in the Amazon jungle. British spiders aren't what they used to be. It's because of Europe. I mean, that's why you need Brexit. Like, the Europeans are weakening our spiders. Those of you who don't know, I am from Belgium. I'm from mainland Europe, so I can laugh with the Brexit all I want. You're lucky you're not in Australia, I guess. Yeah, classic joke of in Australia the spiders are so big that they have health bars. A bristle worm stung me before in Tenerife, and I was fine. So I don't know. A bristle worm is pretty high up already of, you know, violent reactions to the poison that they're like injecting. So I'd say you're pretty lucky then. Ahoy! Hey, teleport. You're back again. How are you doing? I think I have done most of their turquoise now. Yeah, I have like a group of these suckers that are still lying on the floor. Might actually just these are the crew for the other chariots, by the way. So I still have other chariots, and these are the crewmen that I still have to put on there, but yeah. When do people have time to do anything like that? I can laugh too, because despite being in the UK, I'm Polish. That's true. Like, everyone has a reason to laugh with any other country in the European Union. Like, or even in the European continent, whatever. Like, we're all a bunch of tryhards. Seriously, I've never seen one of those around here, and I live in Tenerife. That's really cool, Ulterior Ward. I jumped into a tide pool and stuck to my arm. Ew. Damn, that's bad luck. Yeah, that does sound like bad luck. To just get attacked by a bristleworm. Well, attacked. It's not like they're coming for your blood. But yes, yeah. Popped in earlier because I was excited to see your stream. Back home now, so I can finally sit down and watch. Teleport, yeah. Thank you. I saw that you were, like, the second I went live, you pressed go watch and you said hey, and I was like, oh my god. It's like you've just been waiting for me to get back online. I really do appreciate that. That was really fun to see. But yeah, I realized, like, okay, that was probably just like the first reaction of me going live, and then you had other stuff to do. Like, I didn't announce it that I was gonna stream again or that I would come back or anything. Like I said at the beginning, I don't know if you could consider me being back. Like, I'm probably gonna do this more. I just don't want to commit to a schedule at the moment. Again, for those who weren't here when I was talking about it, the last few months have been pretty hard on me mentally, physically, and all that. And yeah, I'm going through some rough patches in life. And this is just a way of trying to, you know, do stuff again that I used to do. And try to beat the funk. So no promises that I will be staying, in fact. But I've got to say, it is really good. Look, I'm really jealous of you being from Tenerife over here in the UK. There's barely any nature. Sure, it's very green, but it's a giant farm essentially, and even the forests are mainly plantations. Yes, that is true. I've got the same thing going here in Belgium. Like, everything is tamed. There are forests, there is nature. My girlfriend often goes walking, and she has the Identify app where you can like identify various animals, and yeah, there's a lot of things still out there, but you really have to look for it, and it's really hard to actually get some decent nature going on. And yeah, there are efforts, but still, it's only efforts, and the results may vary. While in other places in the world, you realize that, yeah, it's just way more there. All the nature, all the plants, all the creatures. I've been to Belgium before and it was really peaceful, although it's very flat. Yes, I can attest, it's very flat here. Half of the country is basically moors, so, or it used to be moors and swamps and marshes. I know there's a difference between a swamp, a marsh, and a moor, don't or a bog, but don't ask me. Something to do about the amount of plant material in there and all that. Thank you, I will hydrate. Bluky, I'm just gonna say Bluky. I also have been to Poland before, so I'm from Belgium, and I've been to Poland. So yeah. I feel really grateful for it, not gonna lie. It has its drawbacks, of course, but I'm glad I live here. Yeah. Fun fact, my ancestor was the son of the Duke of the Duchy of Bohemia. So you are a Bohemian son. I went once to Poland too. I remember a beautiful place with a double lake called Morskie Oko, something like that. Yeah, I've been on a school trip, not a school trip, but like an exchange program to Poland a long time ago, and yeah, saw a lot of cool things. Hello, McJuggernaut. No, McJuggernaut. Just gonna say McJuggernaut. I keep staring at the webcam while it's not even working today, so shit. I'm painting my Army of Tomb Kings McJuggernaut. Welcome in. I'm just gonna show you a bit. On Saturday I have a game against a friend of mine, and yeah, I am going to show off these minis. Show off is saying a lot. I'm just going to use these minis, and I am actually, you know, trying to get them in a somewhat presentable state. So, yeah, shit, I forgot turquoise on this one. So I am quickly painting some turquoise and copper on these minis, and I'll figure out the rest afterwards. Morskie Oko, it means the eye of the sea. That is a very nice name. But if it's a lake, is it situated near the sea? Or... because saying like, this is a nice lake, but it's like completely inland, and then you're like, well, why do you call it the eye of the sea? Another fun fact, there is a desert in Poland caused by mining. The land never recovered and it's called Bledy, meaning mistakes. That's a pretty fun one. I've been to those large salt mines in Poland back in the day. I really liked that. That was really interesting. Vilishka, I think it is that, yes. Like I said, that's like 20 years ago, man. I'm an old man now, and but the name does... I've been there too. It was an underground cathedral made of salt. Yeah, indeed. That was the thing, like, because they were underground and it took so long for them to go up and down, and because they were like such a devout people, they were like, hey, if we make like a cathedral underground and the workers don't lose time going up and down for their mass and all that, people were licking the walls. Yeah, like the guide said, like, hey, and there's still like everything here, these beams that stud everything, they're still the same ones. Why? Because they're basically like petrified, and you can lick them because it's all salt, and it's like, no thanks. Like, I'm sure a lot of people pass through here, and if everyone does that. Salty walls. Yes. Like, imagine any place where you just walk in and they're like, hey, you're free to lick these salty walls. You'd be like, no, thank you. But yeah, that was really impressive. I've, of course, also done the concentration camps, but that's impressive in another way. We did Warsaw, we did Krakow, yeah, and then we stayed with a Polish family for a bit. Like I said, it was an exchange program, so that was really fun. I had good memories there. Got disconnected for a bit. I'm sorry. It could also be me. Could also be my my setup. We've established that the launch of this stream wasn't without issues. So I also want to point out that this is not my normal style of painting. I'm usually way more meticulous, but since I still want to get these dudes kind of presentable by this weekend, I will have to, you know, what's it called? Cut some corners. So I'm picking like 2 or 3 colors, and I'm just going to add them to the miniature, to the models, and we'll see where it goes. Also, I invite everyone to ask me questions, like if there's things you want to know about audiobooks, about models, or anything else, just let me know. But I also have a question for you guys. Like, everyone in here at the moment on YouTube, Twitch, well, maybe not Twitch, but definitely on YouTube. Do you guys listen to my audiobooks, or did you find the stream in any other way? Did this joke before I got disconnected. Strangest saliva on salt. Yeah, no, no, thank you. Like, post-COVID times, although it's salt, I'm pretty sure that it will completely destroy anything that you kind of lick onto it. So, I usually take time painting one figure between 6 and 10 hours. You just subscribed. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you for subscribing. Got the stream recommended. Never seen your channel before. That is weird. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna say thank you for joining in. I really appreciate you taking a chance on me. I'm gonna say it as it is. This is also not my normal content, so I do occasionally stream. I'm gonna say I'm regularly stream. I don't do it regularly enough anymore, but I mostly do audiobooks. So if you're gonna take a look around my channel, you'll notice that I just read weird fiction audiobooks. That's what I do. Now that might not be for everyone, but the algorithm kind of weird sometimes. Yes, I've noticed, like, the entire month of June and even a large part of July, YouTube was really fucky, let's say. And I say that with the most respect to my YouTube overlord, but yeah, it did weird things. It never really gave me what I wanted on my For You page, my homepage. It showed me things that I've already watched. It's really weird. It's really weird. The YouTube gods seem to be on your side. The Chaos gods. Yeah, well, for once. Again, I'm not the greatest in the algorithm game. Like, I don't use very grasping YouTube titles or thumbnails most of the time. So, a little bit of color. I'm first gonna catch up with chat. Teleport. As a YouTube purist watching on YouTube and only YouTube, I found you through a Twitch raid. Teleport, I know you're also in Twitch, man. I think I found you searching for Clark Ashton Smith. It's great to see an audiobook channel less than 2 years old, which is not AI-generated voices. I have no problem with the AI-generated images. Those are just background. AI voices are slop. Max, yes. That's also my my opinion. Like, I know that might seem contradictory to a lot of people, like, hey, you are using AI to generate images for your stories, but you draw the line at voices. I'm like, yes, because a voice is kind of someone's identity sometimes. You could say the same for an art style, I know, but yeah, that's where I draw the line as well. It's just like, I'm not going to... Also, what's the point of having a channel where you read stuff if you don't read stuff, you know? I have read some stuff from Lovecraft. I liked it. Any recommendations from other authors? Ulterior Warren. Other authors you should definitely check out if you like. Lovecraft is Clark Ashton Smith, Robert E. Howard, M.R. James, basically, basically go to the videos on my channel and just take a look at the different authors that I tackle. Most of the time, they all have a very high Lovecraft vibe, like Frank Belknap Long, Robert Bloch. God damn it, I'm reading so many stories, I forget all these people. But yeah, there's if you are interested in Lovecraftian stories with horror and all that, most of the stories that I read are also from authors who had a connection with Lovecraft and often wrote for the Lovecraft mythos. So if you know a couple things about Lovecraft, you will encounter links to that in other stories by these writers. For example, I have a bit of a preview for this Sunday's audiobook. I've just read The Thing on the Roof by Robert E. Howard, and there is an obvious reference to the Cthulhu mythos because they are referencing the Necronomicon. So, like that, there is a lot of overlap. What's your take on 3D printed bases of scenery? Oh yes, and I also wrote a Lovecraftian story, and I narrated it on my own channel. So you can definitely check that out, because you can find it nowhere else. I already forgot that I wrote my own story. Oh my god. Teamich Downtown Bala G. Love the channel. Thanks for awesome stories. Thank you for being here. Thank you for dropping by and telling me that. I really appreciate that. 3D printed bases of scenery. I do like those. I have, same with these models, I have a couple of files with added details of 3D printed scenery. I will in a second show you one that I have and that I used. For example, this dwarf. Yeah, it's very dark. But the base wasn't part of the model, so the part is actually those rocks. Yeah, you can't really see it all that well. But those rocks are completely 3D printed. This is a completely 3D printed base. So yeah. I'll try and show you another one. Like, same for this elf. Like, that's a 3D printed base with rocks breaking, like roots breaking through it. I do like that better. Sorry, I'm quickly going to ban someone who's trying to give me cheap viewers. I don't want cheap viewers, I want real viewers. People that appreciate what I'm doing. So yeah. I think real voiceover is the same as art. It gives a soul because it gives a uniqueness that cannot fully be replicated. Yeah, absolutely. I agree completely. And I've always said that the images that I'm showing while doing the audiobooks are just there for people who want something to look at. I'm never gonna claim that it's art. I'm never gonna claim that it is there to, you know, do anything but prevent me from showing a black screen the entire time. But yeah, for some people, that's inexcusable, and I get that. I get that. Like, recently there was someone who came into the comments of one of the videos and he said like something in the sort of, hey, I see that you're soiling the great legacy of Robert E. Howard by putting AI-generated images on there. I won't be supporting... Since AI images are theft, I'm not going to support this channel. And I'm like, okay, that is good. I can only accept that because you are right. The thing is, how far do you go along with it, and where do you draw your personal border? Like, if that person is like, hey, I gave your channel a chance and I don't like what I'm seeing, so I'm not gonna support you, then I'm like, fine, that's the best response you can give me. While there are others who curse me to the moon and back for daring to use AI images. I'm like, yeah, okay. Good day to you too. And then I'm like, hey, but you fail to see all the other things that I do on this channel, like, you know, it's my own voice. These stories are all either in the public domain or I got explicit consent of the author to read the stories. So AI images are just used for visualization, I get that. You're not going to paint a Van Gogh for that. No, I'm not going to paint a Van Gogh with that, and I'm also not going to claim that it is a Van Gogh. Like, there are a lot of people who are like, oh, look, this is art. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's AI imagery. Yeah, but you also use AI imagery. Yes, but I'm not claiming it's art. It's an image. It's an image to visualize something. It's not meant to be the be-all, end-all of this image. I'm not making a movie. I'm not making something that is a visual media. No, it's an auditory media, which I give, you know, a visual undertone, let's say. And for some people, that nuance doesn't matter. And I can respect that. Again, I'm not gonna claim anyone who shouldn't be here. Why must fine detail be so fragile? The model I'm trying to have 3D printed for me apparently keeps breaking. I'm gonna say teleport. These models are also rather fragile. You can probably see that or guess that by the way that they look, but they're also pretty... Yes, they are pretty, but they're also pretty fragile on the whole. I've had bows break off, I had arms break off, I had all manner of things just break, shatter. One of my horses has lost a leg, and I'm like, yeah, it's a good thing that they're undead, so, you know, having them lose a couple limbs isn't that problematic. But, yeah. I think that's probably the main reason why Games Workshop isn't, you know, changing these skeletons. Like, these are the original skeletons, and if you just look at them, they look so cartoony. They have a charm, they have an absolute charm, but they're also bulky as shit. So yeah. Yeah. Igor, there he is. Thank you so much for the Conan you have posted. You're very welcome, Igor. I don't know what Conan in particular you're referring to. I've posted a couple of Conans already, so... But as always, it is my pleasure. I love reading Conans. It is hell on the voice, because in Conan I used to ham it up a bit more. And I especially like doing the Conan voice in my Conan readings. But yeah. Oh yeah, for those who don't No, Robert E. Howard, one of the authors that I said you should definitely check out if you like Lovecraft, is the writer of Conan the Barbarian. You know, if you're young enough, or old enough. Shit. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Conan the Barbarian. If you're interested in those stories, those are also very Lovecraftian in nature. There's a lot of old gods, myths, magic going on in those. So if you're like, hey, I like to know a bit more about Lovecraft and all that, and stories that feature into that, definitely check out the Conan stories. I'm not saying that because I also read a lot of Conan stories here on the side, but yeah. One of the models I really like but dislike at the same time is Trazen. He's a fine cast figure and his staff broke twice. Yeah, my Belisarius Call needs his buddy. Yeah. The thing is that I don't think Games Workshop is going to phase out any of the Finecast models, even though they really should, because their Finecast is junk, in my humble opinion. But they keep advertising it as, oh, this is an advanced model and you should be like 15 before you even try to tackle this, and it's like, yeah, sure. I'm waiting for Game Show. But I do think that Trazen might actually be updated at some point. I mean, as a lore figure, he is important enough to actually get like a decent figure and get like the whole, what I call Age of Sigmar treatment, where they completely ham up his pose, make him way bigger than he's supposed to be, give him like 17 different things on his base that tell a story of why he's there and what he's doing, and you're like, yeah, okay, but this is supposed to just be one person. Why is there like an entire court of minions on there? But yeah, whatever. I'm trying to have someone print a Lady of Pain for me. Oh, that's really cool. And the thin blades on her head keep breaking. Might be getting 3 copies of the head sent to me so I can try removing the supports myself. Any suggestion for working with frangible 3D printed resin? Get better resin. That sounds really dumb, but I also went through a lot of different resins in my time of 3D printing. Some of these models are very fragile, and I'm like, oh yeah, but this is super fast resin, and it's really light and all that. Yeah, that's really cool, but it also breaks immensely fast. While these two models are noticeably heavier, but they, like for example, this arrow, this is kind of thin. No, this one doesn't have any thin things about it. But for example here, the chains, like this is resin that is way more sturdy, and it's like the ABS like it's ABS like resin, and for the in most situations I like the ABS like resin, because it is really easy to remove all of the support when it's still, you know, when it's freshly printed, and only after it's cured it becomes really hard and resistant. While with the other ones that I have, for example, for these guys, most of the time my support and my pieces were the same strength, so it was like a 50-50 guess what would break first. For example, a bow or the support that had the bow on it. But with the but the ABS like thing, resin, I feel like the printed parts are always stronger than the support. I keep looking at the webcam while I know it's not on. Shit. So yeah, take a look at that. Finecast is maybe more... Also, the Lady of Pain, the thin blades on her head. Yeah, but those aren't that thin, I'd say. Like, I'm trying to grab something that might have... Depends on how big she's being printed, of course. Finecast is maybe more detailed and cheaper than pewter, but pewter was better in my opinion, but modern plastic is perfect. Absolutely. Finecast was basically their answer to, hey, we have a lot of, you know, pewter molds. What can we do with them? Because we don't want to spend the money of pewter anymore. Also, if you drop a mini, you basically ruin your table. And then it was like, yeah, we can use Finecast. Like, okay, yeah, sure. That's a better thing, but at the moment you've already evolved past Finecast and you've got modern plastic, which is way better. You also have like that intermediary period where you have like plastic that was not yet modern plastic. That plastic sucks. Like the early 2000s plastic really sucks. But modern plastic, amazing. The detail they can put in those models, it's just mind-blowing. By the way, my Trazen has pewter rope traded Necrons because his army is meant to be of rare individuals. Right. Yeah, absolutely. He's gathering all the beautiful people in the universe. He's what you call a collector. An appreciator of the fine arts and the fine people of the Imperium. Have you ever lost something? You tried checking out Trazen's vaults? Oops. We've lost part of the Emperor, he's just a corpse now. Trazen with the healthy body of the Emperor in his vaults. Well, I found it, it was just sitting there. And I forgot I had coffee, because of course. Oh, apparently... No. I thought there was like a disconnect between my two chats, but there isn't, so that's good. There we go. Yeah, if you guys have any more questions, shoot. Ah, coffee is life, absolutely. What? Honey, no. What? I just drank coffee. So... It's all good. I just drank my coffee. coffee wasn't cold yet. I even got for him first edition Beaky Space Marine and one of the first Aldari and a Pewter Commando Boy Orc as a reference to him having a croc. That's some of the weirdest lore I feel. It's like crocs. It's like, okay. It's fun though. I feel Trazen is just made to be a meme character, right? Right? I feel like he's like a nod to people who just collect miniatures. In Warhammer 40k maybe, but I cannot decide. Okay, so do you have more Warhammer products that you play, use, partake in, that you're like, I like this character way better? Do you play Fantasy, Old World, Age of Sigmar, Rogue Trader, Necromunda? Anything else? You can say like, yeah, no, I actually like this this character way better. My all-time favorite character, by the way, is Nagash. Nagash is both the most competent yet incompetent character in the whole of Warhammer Fantasy. The guy is a genius. He's awesome. He has plans within plans. He's immortal. Yet for some fucking reason he keeps losing. And it's mostly not even his own fault. It's mostly just plain bad luck. By the way, did you know that if Trazen ever kept commands Commissar Yarrick, and if anybody found out, the Orcs, the Imperium, Necrons would fight together, and guess who else I have in Pewter? You have Yarrick. That's cool. Let me see here. I also forgot that I have more light in this place. You probably won't see it on stream, but for me it's better. My favorite is Thankwall. Built my entire Skaven army around him, and Bone Ripper, and all their incarnations. That is really cool. I really like the Thankwall books. Like, dude's going through stuff as well. I have a weak spot for Skaven as well. I am also a forever DM or game master. and I currently have a Warhammer Fantasy group. And we were just joking around at some point, and I was like, hey, you know what? I also want to have my character in there. And I, on the spot, came up with, you know what? And he's going to be a Skaven clan rat, and his name is Skeeve. And he's always there. He's always there. He's just, you know, you just don't see him, but he's part of this adventure. And you'll probably never encounter him, but Skeeve is there, and he's doing his Skaven things. And yeah, I just created my OC right there and then, and now it's every time something happens, the party, unknowingly, like there is no reason in universe to think about Skaven, but like the party, the players are like, Skeeve involved? It's like, no, Skeeve isn't there. Like, shit, people. Like, yeah, you never know. You never know. It could be Skeeve. It's like, you don't know about Skeeve. I heard that Skaven tend to be quite goofy. Is that true? No. Skaven are a very harsh and unforgiving reality, but it's bordering on, you know, the insane. It's so fucked up it becomes, it kind of loops around again. It's kind of weird to say it like that, but Skaven are so weird that after a while you just make a full 180 and you become, you know, fun again. But yeah, Skaven, like, one of the funny things about Skaven is that, for example, since they're rats, they also communicate via pheromones and scent glands, which basically means that if you write about Skaven, you can put in at any time that they basically fart and they start to stink, and that it's just their way to convey that they're, you know, very scared. And then you're like, oh my god, this is so stupid that these things just start to stink because they're scared. And then you're like, yeah, but quite effective. It's kind of funny. They blow themselves up with insane machinations. What's not to like? Absolutely. Tyranids, but cooler. Tyranids, but what if Tyranids were inept? Like, Tyranids are somewhere designed to be, you know, disposable. Like, their entire hive mentality is the fact that we are basically one, and each and every part of the hive fleet is part of a whole. And it's just our tentacles that are spreading out, and we let it do our bidding. There are basically no individuals within the Tyranids. The Skaven are the same, but if every one of those Tyranids would have a brain of its own, you get mayhem, you get chaos, and that's basically what Skaven are. Skaven are just amazing. Basically, Skaven are humans, but taken to the extreme. What if humans didn't have morals? What if humans didn't check themselves? They would experiment, they would enslave, they would eat, they would consume, they would murder, pillage, all those things. Because, you know, people don't do that. But, you know, on a much larger scale. Skaven are the most original faction Games Workshop has made. I would say yes. Skaven don't have a basis in anything else. while all the other races, especially the classic ones like the dwarves, the elves, orcs, they are based on classic fantasy settings, so they are of course known quantities. Space Marines, you know, those are things that are all, you know, existing. But yeah, even the Tyranids are based on fucking alien. I mean, but Skaven, yeah, they're pretty unique. Are they inept, but because they're a huge horde, they don't need to be exact in what they do? Exactly. Basically, Skaven are you know, the random number game. They are playing with statistics. If you have 10,000 Skaven who are all trying to make a bomb, then chances are that one of those Skaven will succeed, and you don't care about the 9,999 others who blow themselves up and all the others around them while doing so. You just need numbers. If you throw enough numbers at it, it'll happen eventually. And that is basically what the Skaven do. Also, the Skaven love Warpstone. The Skaven once made a rocket to shoot down Moorsleep, which is the second moon of the old world, to try and gather all the Warpstone that is there. Not even fucking joking with that one. So, yeah. They also have, what is it, a Wheel of Death? Death Wheel? A Wheel of Pain? I don't know what it's called, but it's basically like a running wheel where one rat is inside running, so the wheel turns, and another rat basically steers it, and it has like laser weapons on it. It's really stupid. But yeah, there's like a lot of discourse about the Skaven and all that. A Doom Wheel, that's what I was looking for. On communication, there's a great scene in a Thankful short story where he observes a human audience watching a play, and he's confused by why the townspeople expose their teeth and make loud noises with their hands. They must have caught onto his ploy with their threat display. Oh my god. If I were to make a new faction in Warhammer 40k, I would add a creature from the deep, deep past of Earth. Past that left Earth developing faster than light tech, only to get lost and settle a new planet. Damn. Lizardman. Lizardman, but in space. Also, personally, I really like Lizardman. People who have been around on the channel might have memories of a certain stream where we were vehemently debating if lizard people should have mammary glands or not. So yeah, we have opinions here about lizard men, and lizard women, and lizard children. Where they would terraform an alien planet to become a replica of the Cretaceous period. Yeah. Isn't that like an actual ancient alien theory that dinosaurs, for some reason, like, went out? No, isn't that a Star Trek episode? Where, like, dinosaurs went into space and became, like, lizard people society? That's a Star Trek episode. I think it's from Voyager. Sorry. where they would terraform an alien planet to become a replica of the Cretaceous period, making each new planet uninhabitable for humans. Yeah, that's something that we tend to forget, and that is something that was also the plot of, spoilers, the last Jurassic movie is, hey, you're bringing back creatures that lived in, you know, the Jurassic and the Cretaceous period. Those things aren't able to breathe in our atmosphere. Like, they're just choking. You know? I just want to see goddamn Chaos AdMech. Yeah. Dark Mechanicus is... Don't go to the last Jurassic movie! Hey, old ball, welcome in. I've seen it. Spoiler-free review. I liked the movie up until the last 15 minutes. Scarlett looks great. Scarlett carries that entire movie. She is by far the best actress, or the best actor in that entire movie. It was a Star Trek episode of Voyager. Yes! I was like, I heard that before. Where? It's been years since I've seen Voyager. No, but Rebirth, I really liked it, but the finale wasn't deserved. Like, the big bad dinosaur at the end of the movie, like, for me, comes out of fucking nowhere. Like, they establish him completely at the beginning of the movie, and then at the end, and you're like, okay, but what is that thing? What does it do? Why the fuck is it here? Why should we care? Why can't this be a generic T-Rex? Because other things in the movie, you're like, okay, they're doing something creative with it, but that thing, you're like, if you would change that out with a box standard T-Rex, the entire finale of the movie would have stayed the same. Completely the same. There is no reason why they had to put that thing in there. Whatever. True, Alien Dino. They leave so much... Yeah. I forget the remote viewer's name, but I like the theory. The Martian planet was dying, so they made the moon and moved to Earth, where they wiped out the dinosaurs and made the Earth more stable. Jesus. Those dinosaurs in Star Trek were Pyrosaurolophus. Yeah, true. The Martian planet was dying. Imagine people on Mars being like, shit, dudes. We gotta move out. We gotta find a new place to stay. And then you look at... You know those big lizards on the other planet? Yeah. Fuck them. It's like... Oh, okay. I guess. Let's just move over there. Scoot, scoot, scoot. Gonna give them some more color, just to be sure. I'm here, I'm busy. I might as well just keep on painting. Keep on trucking. Damn Martians ruin everything. I think like these theories that some of the movies, I think it was Jurassic Park 3 that said like, if it weren't for the extinction event, probably Velociraptors would have become the dominant species on Earth. And like, it's not how fucking evolution works. Like, it's like they're currently saying, like, there's like news articles floating out there that they're saying like, hey, if there was a mass extinction event and humanity was wiped out, it would probably be octopi who are rebuilding civilization. Like, based on what? Based on what would you say that it's going to be octopi? Like... For me, this movie is like 85% just people on their way to somewhere. Oddball, I have to break your bubble, man, but Lord of the Rings is 85% people on their way to somewhere. Like, that in itself is not a bad... Have a movie about people on their way to somewhere. But I would do it with more bird-like dinosaurs, possibly with opposite birds. They were essentially the same as modern birds, but didn't have big tail feathers, if any, and a couple of teeth still. That's really cool. One grew the size of an emu, I think on an isolated island. That's really cool. Not rando kilo some crocodilo and go on your way-o. Ah! Yeah, I mean, I was being facetious, but I get what you mean, I get what you mean. Like, for me it was a turn your brain off and enjoy dinosaurs movie, and it did that well. Was it a good movie? No. But it did the, you know, dude, I just want to sit here, eat from my Tyrannosaurus popcorn bucket, and enjoy the movie. So, yeah. That's interestingly reductive. Yeah, any movie or book could be distilled down to a simple concept like that. Yeah, Michael Rushton, thank you for being here, by the way, and thank you for joining. That's what I meant. Like, you could reduce anything to a very simple concept, and that wouldn't take away that the concept in itself isn't a bad thing. Like we said, Lord of the Rings is also people going from point A to point B, and it's done well, while other movies, like, for example, the newest Jurassic Park, is indeed people going from point A to point B, and it's not all that great. There are some really great scenes, like some scenes are really filled with tension. People say that especially the South American family is basically just Alan Grant and the kids from the original Jurassic Park all over again. I'm like, yeah, but those were, to me, the scariest parts of the movie, because those were people who were just thrown on an island full of dinosaurs. And yes, they have to go from point A to point B, true, but going from point A to point B on a dinosaur-filled island is kind of a challenge. No, it's okay, Michael Rushton, it's okay. John Wick is 60% just some dude fighting people, for example. I would say it's even more than 60%. As long as you don't have, like, the full context of why he's doing that, then, like, a good movie, a well-written movie, could be 60 or 70% just fighting. If there's a reason for the fighting, and the fighting is done well. Like, yeah. Thanks to AI, it was Joseph McMoneagle that saw it. He's former CIA Stargate program. Yeah, but Hippocratic, isn't that Stargate program famously, like, useless? Like, didn't they shut it down because it just didn't do anything useful? Well, the only thing it did useful was it inspired a show called Stargate, and that thing is great. Love it. Let's see. These types of movies are enjoyed more when you just turn off the brain and enjoy the ridiculously pricey CGI. That is true. It's the Marvel effect. It is the Marvel effect, unfortunately, and the Marvel effect is also failing because I heard that Fantastic Four wasn't that great of a movie, so... What happened, man? We used to be so happy with each new Marvel movie. And then suddenly they were suffering from their own success, and you're like, hey, you okay there, buddy? What's an estimate of how many pages the book you read for the channel are at? Oh, teleport, that's a really good question. And that is something I don't readily know. Oh, by the way, for those who don't know, because you can't see the chat, I am streaming to both YouTube and Twitch. So I have two chats going on the same time. So I am switching between different answers. I'm sorry if that wasn't clear yet. So on Twitch, I'm being asked, what's the estimate of how many pages the books you read for the channel are at? Depends. Most of the time, I'm, you know, it's more of how long does it take for me to read the books. Any book under an hour, I think, is a pretty short book. Any story that takes me longer than 2 hours, I think, is a pretty long book. But I've done stories that take me like 4 hours or 5 hours. I've done stories that only take me 15 minutes. So, yeah, it's... There is no strict guideline. I do tend to look at stories that I can do between 1 and 2 hours on a normal basis. Occasionally, if I have the time or I can plan it in accordingly, I do a longer one. Or if I don't have the energy or time to do a normal sized one, I use a shorter one. But generally, everything that falls under the category short story is mostly up for grabs. Those are the ones that tend to fit the criteria for what I want to read on the channel anyway. How much pages are there? Depends on the edition they're being brought out. Some, if they're published in Weird Tales, it's maybe 30 pages, like spread over 3 magazines, because they only got 10 pages per magazine. So, like, they're 30 pages. Others I have read are 150 pages, but the typeset is so large that you could possibly, if you would lower it to like a 0.8 or 0.9 on a Word document, you would only get like half of the pages in there. So it's really just all over the place. Some sets and some great settings are pretty cool too, especially the old retro vibe. Yeah. I liked everything that had like a retro vibe to it. The moment that they started mixing that retro vibe in with the new thing and AI voices and the iPhone aesthetic, I was like, yeah, why did we need this? Yeah. I did only just join, so I've missed. Yeah. Did you hear how a certain company will attempt to resurrect a dodo or make something similar? Yes. But it's the same. It's the same company that did it with the dire wolves. The thing is, as many people have pointed out, they're not resurrecting species. What they're doing is they're taking a species that resembles it. For example, with the dire wolves, they take a grey wolf, which is the closest living descendant of a dire wolf. They manipulate certain genes that will give the grey wolf phenotypical properties of a dire wolf, and then they will say, hey, we've resurrected a dire wolf. No, it's just a grey wolf with a different paint job. And it's going to be the same probably with that dodo. Like, they're just gonna take a bird, they're going to, I don't know which bird you would take that is connected to a dodo, so they're going to give it properties of a dodo, and then they will say, hey, this is a dodo. No, it's, again, a different bird with the paint job of a dodo, which isn't the same as, hey, you've made a dodo. That doesn't take away from the fact that it's really cool, though. Like, the same with mammoths. the way they're saying like, yeah, we're gonna do the same, like we're going to, you know, selectively breed and genetically alter a elephant young while it's still gestating so that it will look like a mammoth, and like, okay, but then it's just a different looking elephant young. Like, that's cool to see a mammoth, something that looks like a mammoth, but if it isn't a mammoth, what's the point? Oh, I love mocking remote viewers. Dick Algier, or Algier, said he predicted the Lahaina fire on Hawaii. I said to live on Hawaii and you were able to warn people, right? But he didn't know which coastal town. Yeah, it's the same with basically everything that is psychic. Like, for those who don't know, I have a second channel on YouTube, which is called Mythos Insights. You'll probably find a link floating around somewhere. And I do a bit of video essays on there. It's a relatively new channel. There's not a lot of stuff on there yet. But on the introduction, I do say like, hey, I want to believe. I want all of this paranormal, cryptid, alien bullshit. I want that to be real because that would be so cool. On the other hand, I also realize that most of the time it isn't real. It's just people trying or making up stuff, trying to make a buck out of it, most of the time even. And yeah, that's kind of sad. So, like with psychics, most of the time what they're doing is cold readings. And like we were discussing with the Skaven earlier, it's, you know, just them being, it's a numbers game. After a while, you are right. It's the same with Nostradamus. People are like, oh, Nostradamus made a lot of predictions. Yes, he made a lot of predictions. And if you squint hard enough, all of those predictions came true. Why? Because of the power of hindsight. After the fact, you can always link one of those predictions to something that actually happened. Before it, you lack any and all information to possibly prevent whatever is happening. And then you have the people who say, yeah, but that's the thing. You can't prevent them from happening because it's what's going to happen. I'm like, yeah, that's a cheap excuse. The closest relative of the dodo is the Nicobar pigeon. It's really beautiful. It's like a regular pigeon, but with rainbow feathers. I will have to look up what a Nicobar pigeon is, because that sounds interesting. I'd even look it up right now. Oh shit, that actually looks pretty nice. That is a very pretty pigeon. You know what? If that would, you know, shit on my car every day, I wouldn't mind that. I would be like, you're a pretty boy, you can do whatever you want. Remote viewers are better with cryptos, but if you're good with the big stuff, the government would hire you and make you disappear. We only get the dumb remote viewers. Yeah, let's go with that. The real remote viewers don't try to make a quick buck of it. Yes, so those with actual talent are doing God's work and are making sure that we are safe from all of the harrowing truths of the universe. You know, that's actually a way more fun explanation of what's happening. So let's go with that. Wait, if they make a dodo from that pigeon, they'll make a rainbow-colored dodo-like creatures. That could be the case, or they, you know, they manipulate it enough so it loses all of its Nicobar pigeon traits. Like, I feel like there is a long distance between dodo and Nicobar pigeon, so they will have to manipulate it a lot, I feel. Also, I'm talking like I know Nicobar pigeon personally. Your cousin Nico, Bar pigeon. That's a GTA 4 joke. Let's go bowling, cousin. I also really like the idea that humans, when they were at sea and you had the great age of sailing, they came across islands, they saw these dodos, they were like, oh, these are so fucking easy to catch and eat, and they taste great. And they just ate them all. And then centuries later, people are like, yeah, we kind of fucked up there. Maybe we should bring him back. It's like, dude, we ate it. Like, just leave it be. We've lost this one. We fucked up. Just let it go. Let it go. Ugly pigeon isn't coming back. I also want to thank everyone that's in here watching the stream, joining us live, or maybe watching the VOD afterwards. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. Like I said earlier, this was just me going live on a whim, and I didn't expect so many people to actually be here. They said they developed artificial wombs for it since they cannot create an egg. Holy hell. Like, if they're making artificial wombs for that thing, how long before they actually put us in pods and they start creating humans from artificial wombs and growing us in vats and all that? What I'm wondering. Because after a while, people there's someone saying, hey, you know what? We could actually use this. Something else than it was meant to be used. If it tasted better than bacon, I could see them hunting a pigeon to extinction. I've never eaten pigeons, so I wouldn't know. Like, people eat kangaroo, I mean... People eat crocodile. I'm sure that if crocodiles were easier to hold, that we'd be eating way more crocodile. There's just not enough saturated fats in my pigeon. It's lean meat. Nobody wants lean meat. I think I might have actually struck on the issue of why we're not eating more pigeons. White meat? No. I need red meat. Michael, you are an Australian. Oh, nice. I have eaten both croc and kangaroo. Kangaroo's extremely lean and very easy to overcook. Oh boy. So is kangaroo white meat or red meat? I would say that's red meat, right? Is it comparable to what's deer? Is that venison? Yeah, deer is venison. Is it like venison? I wouldn't know. I know. I do know. I think I have once eaten kangaroo and once eaten croc, but I can't remember the experience. So I actually had an ostrich burger, and I can confirm it is possibly better than beef. Oh boy. The Arabian ostrich was already hunted to extinction. Holy hell. Didn't know we killed another species. Well, another point to humanity. Man, we're really winning this species war. Especially since most of those other creatures don't even know there's a war going on, and we're just, you know, doing it for sport at this point. Matt Panda, hey, good evening. How are you doing? Come in. Red meat. Oh, okay.
Stretch! Stretch!
I actually should stretch a bit. Yeah, okay, then how did the Great Emu War turn out then? Yeah, I was just thinking, like, wasn't there like a sort of ostrich that the Australians had really big trouble with? Or was it in New Zealand? I don't know, but at a certain point they were using machine guns against emus. And it didn't work out. It's probably over sensationalized, but yeah. Nice gamey flavor. Different from beef in the same way duck is different to chicken. Yeah, okay. I think I get what you mean. Oh man, I really like duck. But duck is fatty. Like chicken, basically no fat. While duck, basically all fat. Okay, but it isn't, you know, it's not that, whatever. Eh. I'm getting there. I'm pretty happy with how this this group is turning out. Like I said earlier, for those who weren't here when I disclosed the entire point of this painting, I'm not here to paint them perfectly. I'm here to give them enough color to make them, you know, not just brown blobs on a playing field. I just want to give them a bit of a identity when I go play with them on Saturday, and giving them a couple of different colors gets the job done. Yeah, somehow it got memed into a war. Yeah, Michael, that's what I figured is that like there was just a culling of a couple of creatures, and then people made more of it than it actually was. Still, memes are a powerful thing. Memes make the world go round. I even, and now I'm again going to advertise myself, on that second channel that I have, so this is Miniature Mifos, but I also have Mifos Insights. On Mifos Insights, I actually made a video about Cthulhu and how Cthulhu is basically a meme. And a meme that is doing exactly what Lovecraft said that Cthulhu does. As in, unknowingly it spreads. We all heard of Cthulhu. We all know of Cthulhu. But think about how it began. A relatively small writer used Cthulhu in his writings, and now everyone has heard of him. And we all know of him, and we associate stuff to him. But yeah, he's just a meme. Watch that video. I'll explain it way better in the video. So, we tried to cull a bunch of emos when the population got out of control. Turns out they run really fast, so our soldiers struggle to catch the emos to shoot them. Yeah, true. Emos are tough as bricks or nails. They can take even 6 shots and still run away. God damn, some tough chickies. Which of these models in front of you is now your favorite? I have to say this one. I know he was not completely in front of me, but my Tomb King himself, well, he's actually a Tomb Prince, is my favorite. So yeah, I really like how he looks. And then his loyal steed, Steve. Steve the mummified lion. I really like these plates. I really like how they turned out. Anyway, Cthulhu is a mimetic mind virus. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying in that video. Is that once you know of Cthulhu, you give power to the idea of Cthulhu, which is exactly how Cthulhu in the mythos also works. The moment you know of it, he's a knowledge hazard. Like, yeah, I can, you know, get really into it, but it's already getting late. I don't want to. Fun fact, it's legal to keep emus in the UK as pets. Oh, really? And in Germany, the South American relative of the emu, called the rhea, escaped into Germany and now are invading. There are over 50 at least. Oh boy. So you're saying HPL created the first SCP. Are all SCPs based on memes? I know of the SCP Foundation. I know the whole creepypasta SCP thing. I don't know if all the SCPs are memes. Some of them are, because they just got so popular, but yeah. How did the Conan gift turn out? Hippocratic Oath, unfortunately, the whole Conan thing was about around the time that my father's health started to deteriorate, and I haven't gone back to it. So unfortunately, the Conan GIF is still pretty much where I left it. Unfortunately. Oh, for those who are interested, this Saturday, like I was saying, I am going to play a Warhammer The Old World game against a friend of mine. He's playing with High Elves. So I'm looking to get my ass thoroughly beat by him. Because, you know, Tomb Kings, despite being, you know, mummies and all that, they're basically paper mache. They're gonna tear through me like wet paper. Can't say I'm really looking forward to that, but then again, we're just doing it for the love of the game and mostly the love of the lore. I'll bring my Chaos Dwarfs. Oh boy. I think, like, I've seen the Chaos Dwarves that they just announced slash released, and while I'm really excited to see Chaos Dwarves actually getting models, I think it's such a shame that it's for Age of Sigmar, and I'm like, guys, could have done something great with the old world and brought Chaos Dwarfs to the old world. But no, it's Age of Sigmar. Same with the Skaven. Why did you pull away the Skaven from Fantasy and put them in Age of Sigmar? Such a shame. Age of Sigmar doesn't exist, just like the new Star Wars movies. Update on the RIA, there are between 300 and 600 of them, and they might have expanded past the German borders. Oh my god, that's horrible. Now, just that kind of thing is a thing in the SCP universe. A mimetic hazard. Yeah. Knowing about something makes it... A mimetic hazard is a concept, idea, or piece of information that can cause harm or negative effects to individuals or groups when transmitted or encountered. Yes, basically. So that is also something that I explain in, like I said, that video. It's really dumb that I keep referring to something else. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's something that I tackle there. Just knowing about something changes your perception of it, mostly in a negative manner. And I like the idea of that. I like the concept of a mimetic hazard. I also like how some people think that memes are something that, you know, 15 years ago just spontaneously erupted on the internet and were never seen before. It's like, no, memes have existed for forever. Like, everyone has memes, every civilization has memes. Like, It's been there for a very long time. You know what? I'm gonna give them white hats. Why the fuck? For now, I'm going to give them more detailed hats later. I would hate for these tall hats to be completely ignored on the battlefield. Have a couple more with hats like that. By the way, the Rhea eat from farmers' fields and are too fast for hunters to get rid of. Nice. The King in Yellow. The King in Yellow is a perfect example. Yes. Well, for those who also were asking for more stories, Robert W. Chambers' The King in Yellow is also very Lovecraftian, and I can also recommend it to the fullest. Those are some really good stories, and those are the ones that when I was reading them I had some of the most fun with, because most of the stories that Lovecraft, Robert E. Howard, all the others write, you can think about it, and that might add something after the fact that you've read it, but The King in Yellow is, to me, way more cerebral. It's only when you go through that text twice, when you notice all the things, when you try to see the pattern, that you start to notice, oh my god, this is so well written. I also have some of the King in Yellow stories on my channel. If you want to check them out, you can really get into it. It's amazing, The King in Yellow. I think Cthulhu is Lovecraft's sublimation of his fears of the cultural death of Anglo-Saxon New England. Yes. I could say yes. I mostly think that Cthulhu was the unknowable. It's really easy to say that everything Lovecraft did was through the lens of a form of racial bias, racial tension, the loss of uniqueness and all that. I think that would be selling the guy short. I do think that there is more to him than oh, he was just sad about the downfall of Anglo-Saxon culture and folk. But yeah, like there are way better stories in his catalog that show the downfall of Anglo-Saxon culture than Cthulhu, to be honest. Yeah. Memes are ancient in Pompeii. There are PP drawings on walls and a Viking road on the highest place in a cathedral that is very high there. Oh my god. There's even memes in ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs. Absolute. People trolled at all times. Yeah, absolutely. Human immatureness is immortal. Yeah, I mean, nobody invented, you know, just drawing dicks all over the place. I'm just going to, I noticed that I'm shifting away from my camera, so I'm going to shift my camera back a bit. I'm going to scoot all my army men over, so I have some more place to work. Ah, he's got me! He's got me! Get out there. And I'm going to do this flag, and then I'm probably going to call it a day. I think Lovecraft had a deep-seated fear of his ancestral home and things around him being replaced by strangers and immigrants, so in a sense, yes. It's in many of his stories, but I don't know if I would pin it on Cthulhu, more in his overall concept of the unknowable. Yeah, like I said, there are a lot of stories where you could actually see his xenophobia. People say that, oh, he's racist. I would say he's more fearful than actively racist. But that's an opinion, and that is just my opinion. Not stating facts and saying you're wrong if you think otherwise. But yeah, there are stories where his racism shines through way more than in Cthulhu, and where you could definitely see that he's afraid of things changing around him and influence that others have on our quote-unquote culture. Shadow over Innsmouth is the story where xenophobia excels. Yeah, the horror at Red Hook is way more racist. That's actually racist. I have not done a lot of disclaimers on my channel when I read audiobooks. I did one for the horror at Red Hook just because, yeah, I felt like he's saying a lot of things that could be misconstrued or that are just plain wrong to say. So I am going to say, hey, this was written in a different time with a different mindset by someone who, you know, lived his life in a certain way. Not that it makes it right, but it at least puts it into context. And context is everything. In the beginning, a lot of people, when I was doing these readings, and I got my first, let's say, viral hit, and people started streaming into the channel. Basically, on every Lovecraft story I got, there was this one joker who was like, "Say, what was the name of Lovecraft's cat?" I'm like, yes, guys, we all know what the name of his cat was. Not clever, not great. It's... yes, it's a bit trite. Especially because he loved that cat. He absolutely loved that cat. So the name in itself didn't have a negative connotation. Also, when he got that cat, he was 9. You could say, oh, he should have known better. He was 9. In a world that was inherently racist. He saw a black cat, and he called it the N-word. Is that a problem? Yes. Today it would absolutely be a problem. To judge someone who lived over 100 years ago by today's standards because as a kid he named his cat the N-word, a cat, again, he loved dearly. again, context is everything, and if you put it in that context, you can be like, oh yeah, okay, well, the N-word is still bad. Yes, the N-word is always bad. Like, the N-word is always bad. But once you know the context of why it was called that, and how he interacted with that cat, you're like, okay, you know what? Problematic names aside. That banner is beautiful. Thank you. I really like it. It looks like it's flowing and there's like light streaming down on it. So I really like how that looks. Yeah, absolutely, it's wrong from our point of view, but I never judge him for it. It was another time, and to be honest, back then, more than 90% of the population likely thought like it. Yeah. People are generally, like, on my channel, I read a lot of Lovecraft and Robert E. Howard. And people are generally much more open about Robert E. Howard. They say, oh, Howard's writing is amazing, love him, he has a way with words, stuff like that. I have found way more open and problematic racism in Howard's writing than I ever did in Lovecraft's writing. Is that now to, you know, absolve Lovecraft or damn Howard? No, it's just that it's also a meme. People keep thinking about, yeah, Lovecraft was a racist. Yes, but so were other people. The thing is that because we're all, you know, we all know that Lovecraft was a racist. We see everything that he does as a racist. Like, the moment that someone comes out with obvious proof that, let's say, Howard was a racist, yeah, I mean, and not to condemn an entire people, but Howard was from Texas. So, chances are he grew up in a way more racially charged area than Lovecraft ever did. But Spencer and Terence Hill movies used those terms often, but never in a bad way. In fact, those two absolute legends taught me to never judge a person by their skin color. That's an awesome message. Like, that's the best thing you can get away from that. I should have really used a smaller brush for this. But I can't be asked. Look, it's two cats. Yeah, this looks great. I really like how this banner turned out. There we go. Yes, that's a pretty banner. That's something I can show off with. The Egyptians would be proud of that banner. Yes. I would say, here, you undead worshipping folk. I've created for you something great. No, I'm gonna keep it like this so you can look at the banner. Put the dude next to it. This is my banner. I love it. It's the greatest banner. Also, for those who have listened to my latest narration, the one from Sunday, which was the horror in the museum, at a certain point, I showed you guys or I was reading about the Dimensional Shambler. I've got a mini for that one as well. That's this guy. This is, if you've read that story at a certain point, the main character is alone in the dark and he hears something approaching him. That's this thing. Yeah. Didn't have time yet? That's fine. I'm going to quickly switch over to the other screen. Let me see. Chatting. Hey, everyone. Quickly changing this all up again. Hello, is the thumbnail AI generated? No, it's an image that I found online. So, some of my thumbnails are AI generated, or parts of it are. So, I usually tend to look for things that I can use in my thumbnails, be it the background image, be it the front image. If I can't find exactly what I need, I use AI and I put anything together. Like I said, or like I always say, I do try to put some effort into any and all things that I do. I'm not, while I use AI for image generation, I tend to always put in my own human effort as well. Because I don't want to turn into a person who just presses a button and let a computer do anything or everything for him. So, there you go. So you will find AI on my channel. Yes. Like I also said, if you have a problem with that, you are welcome to have that opinion. So... Oh, thank God. Do you say that it is AI generated when you use it? Most of the time, I'm just saying that if you see an image, just say that I'll say it's AI. Like, I find that if I just say I use AI, then people appreciate that way more than when I say it every single time that I use it. Like, just, I use AI in general. I'm not going to say, oh, this one's AI, this one isn't AI. Simple as that. Yeah. Normally, what I do say or do is when I upload a video is... I don't know if you know this, but basically... if you upload a video, on YouTube, you have the option to actually say if you use AI or not. The thing is, most of the time, YouTube will take into account that if you stay away from AI content, that if you come across content that has the AI tag switched on, it will not show you that. So I usually say, yes, I have used AI in my videos, because while the stories that I have are originally written by living people, well, once living people, they're now dead, because most of the stories that I read are in the public domain or are written by people I have express consent for using their stories. The music is made by people. The voice is my own voice. So most of what you get from my content is not AI generated, except for the images. Most of the images I have generated with AI, because that's better than looking at a black screen. Not everyone thinks or agrees with that, because indeed the general consensus is that AI generation is theft. So yeah. So that's perfectly fine. You have no problem with AI, but AI generation I don't like because it steals. Yes, true. To be honest, another narrator I follow got copyright struck a while ago. 40k channel, a border prince, absolute chat. Yeah, I think I've heard of him. So just in terms of protection from your channel, I totally understand it. Yeah, basically. Completely new here. AI is generated and you won't get a strike because you forget to give credit or whatever. Yeah, unfortunately, when I use images, I also make sure that they are definitely flagged for commercial use. There are not a lot of images outside on the internet or on the internet that are flagged for free use, and that makes it really hard because everything is owned by anyone, by someone, and if they really want, they are obliged, they are allowed to actually get credited for it. So, which is only fair. I mean, they've put in the work. So yeah, that makes it really hard to actually get, yeah, let's say anything going, basically, without, you know, strikes. I've had my deal of strikes in the past as well when I was using images, when I was using music that wasn't part of the entire collection that I now have, which is a royalty-free license. And the thing is, the copyright system on YouTube is notoriously bad. So people who have nothing to do with the copyright can still claim copyright law, and then all of your stuff is, yeah, it's basically, yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. People are abusing the copyright system immensely, and having images with no pedigree makes it a bit easier. Yes, it kind of cheapens the experience. I know, and there are the moral, you know, the moral quandaries about it, about AI being trained on stolen artwork. Yes, absolutely. This is maybe a false equivalent, but if a piece of meat is on the plate in front of you, saying that you're a vegetarian and you're not going to eat it at that point doesn't matter, because the beast that's in front of you is already dead. The fact that AI has been trained on art by other people has already happened. We're past that point. We've already killed the animal. The animal has been killed before, you know, we got there. The thing is, there's now just a bunch of burgers in front of us, and yeah, like, whether you eat it or not, the people who have slaughtered the cow don't really matter. They don't really care about it anymore, and they're not gonna change the fact that they killed the cow because it's already dead. The same thing now, like, any database that has been trained on existing art, it exists. That database exists, and they're not gonna delete that database. No, those AI models are trained on that art, and they're not gonna be untrained on that art. So yeah, it's really difficult. What meat is it? Did the cow live a good life? I am no expert on the quality of life for the cow. I would say that a cow that has been bred and raised for meat probably didn't have that good of a life. So, although it probably would have had, otherwise the meat won't be great. So, but also the cow didn't consent to being slaughtered himself, so... Like, I know it's a false equivalent, but it's just the state of the world. People are making executive decisions for us, and we have to live in the world that they created for us. I would have loved for AI to not have been trained on other people's art. So yeah. Need to know. Moose Eater here, no moral dilemma. It lived the best life it could have. Moose Eater. Wow. That's really cool. You eat moose. Meese. My cattle are spoiled. They sometimes get banana. And he ate my guavas. That sounds really cool for cattle. So, yeah. I know it's a hotly debated topic. And I'm not judging anyone. Like I said earlier in the stream, like, people sometimes come in on one of my videos because they're like, oh, a Conan the Barbarian audiobook. Awesome. And they say in the comments like, hey, gave your channel a chance, love the voice, love the story, but you ruin it completely with AI generated images. So I'm not going to support you because AI is theft. And I'm like, that's good enough reason for me. Like, thank you for giving me a chance. I respect your opinion. You have all the reason to believe that. On the other hand, there are people who come to me and they say, you are a thief. You are creatively bankrupt because you use AI and you steal from artists. And I'm like, I'm not an AI programmer. I didn't, you know... I didn't choose to steal from artists. Also, I'm not creatively bankrupt, I hope. What is your favorite mythos? That's a really good question. And I recently answered that question to someone else in a comment. And it changes because... every time I read a story every week for the channel. Sometimes I read more, sometimes, you know, I have like a buffer. But most of the time I read a story every week. And narrating a story is different than reading it just to myself. I get another sort of appreciation for a story that I go through narrating it. And my favorites change all the time. Like, I've had new stories that I said, oh my god, this is my new favorite. And then an old classic, a Lovecraft story that I've read dozens of times before that I now narrate, that I'm like, no, you know what? This is still one of my favorites, and it just keeps coming back. It keeps changing, and yeah, it's. If I have to say what an all-time high is, now I have to actually get to my my list, because I don't know by myself. I really got into Clark Ashton Smith's Zothic stuff. I know that's Mythos adjacent, but I really like Clark Ashton Smith. Anything that that man has written is really resonating with me. He's really good. Like, not non-Lovecraftian mythos, Clark Ashton Smith. 100%. One of the stories that has stayed with me for a very long time, ever since I read it, was Herbert West Reanimator. I really like that one because of its Frankenstein themes and because of its humor in it. It's like really good story, really funny. I'm also going to take a look at what I wrote to someone else. What did I say here? From the classic lineup, so I'd say The Lurking Fear, The Call of Cthulhu. Hey Quizzical, how are you doing? Welcome in. So, The Lurking Fear, The Call of Cthulhu, At the Mountains of Madness are solid works. Like, I really love that. Like, those are great. But Lovecraft also had like a subtle and mostly not so subtle sense of humor, and you have stories like Herbert West Reanimator, The Unnameable, or even The Alchemist. Like, The Alchemist is amazing. Like, spoilers for The Alchemist, but The Alchemist is a story about a dude's family who's cursed, and not a single one of the male descendants in that family die or live beyond the age of, I think, 30. And like the protagonist is like this dude who's like nearing 30, and he's like, oh my god, the curse! Is the curse real? Is it not real? What am I going to do? Because some ancient sorcerer back in the day has, you know, cursed our family that we should all die at a certain age because my ancestor killed his kid. And then he's just wandering the castle that his ancestors live in, and suddenly he stumbles upon that wizard, and that wizard's like, happy birthday, motherfucker, and tries to kill him. And it's like, wait, did that wizard turn himself immortal to just kill every one of us at the moment we're becoming 30? Like, there isn't a curse, it's just this dude who's been killing us the entire time. Like, it's such a dumb story, I love it. But yeah, it's funny. It's funny because you're like, oh, magical powers, and it's a curse, and what will they find? And no, it's this dude who turned himself immortal and has been waiting for each of these guys to kill them. It's so dumb. Have you heard of Necken? Necken? No. How do you... Yes, I've heard of them because they're in the Witcher games. They're in the Witcher games, and yeah. The problem with that name is that it's also a slur, so I'm not going to give the other name for the Necken. think it's cool that Clark, Lovecraft, and Howard were friends. To be amigo on the wall while they were chatting. Not only Clark and Howard, we had Robert Bloch as well, who was a friend with Lovecraft, Frank Belknap Long. They were all pen pals, and it's amazing how many people actually came out of that circle. It was amazing. Yeah, it's just mind-boggling. Oh my god, you spoiled it now. How dare you? I'm sorry, Araxi, but it's still a fun story. You should definitely listen to it if you haven't already. Be the curse you want to see in the world. Absolutely, teleport. Absolutely. Right, something shifted here. Oh yeah, it's Shifty. Something shifted in my chat. It's Shifty. Hey, Shifty. Now that should be called the Grudge. Yeah, actually. Actually. Oh, you deleted the message. Okay. Hopefully they didn't read it. Why not? Okay. Because it spoiled stuff. Okay, if it did spoil stuff, then no. Doesn't matter. It's just fun, like. But yeah, the whole thing. Custard Sire, you're going to sleep. Yes, I will be going to bed as well because it's already 12 here. So I'm going to have to go to bed as well. All in all, a very good ad hoc spur of the moment stream. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for joining me, for subscribing, just supporting the channel. I really do appreciate it. Like I said, no, it's Shifty. It's okay, man. Like, I wasn't really planning on streaming, and then suddenly I was like, I still have to stream because I have to paint stuff for a battle, like, this Saturday, so yeah. And yeah, thank you all for joining. I can see in YouTube that a lot of people have actually joined as well, so thank you for being here, thank you for subscribing, and I will definitely be doing this more. I don't know if it will be you know, a regular thing again, but I will try to get back online because I do notice that I get a lot of energy from this, and I want to build something again because yeah, it's been a rough couple weeks, rough couple months already, and yeah. It's 12. Yes, it's midnight here. I'm in Belgium, so for those who don't know, I'm in Belgium, and it's midnight here. The world round or something? Ugh. Horrible. All these imaginary things. We should just give everyone one time and that's it. Let us know how the battle goes. Well, I will tell you guys when I get when I go live again. I don't know when that's going to be, but I will definitely let you know how I got my ass whooped by high elves. So, oh, that's like a stone's throw away. Yeah, everything's a stone's throw away if you can throw enough. Like, throw far enough. West Germany. Oh. I was thinking, is that the good kind of... the good side of Germany? And I'm like... Is there still a good side to Germany? Well, no. Is there still a good side to... Are there still sides to Germany? That was what I was thinking. Like... It's 2025. No, the wall is still there. Germany doesn't have good sides anymore. Yeah, well, let's not get into that one. Anyway, guys, again, thank you for being here. Thank you for the support. I could take a beating. I'm not gonna start beating people here in here on the stream. It's all good. Good night, everyone. I hope you had fun. I had fun. I appreciate all of you. Thank you. And I will see you guys next time. Good night. Bye-bye. And whatever time it is, sleep well. Bye-bye. Good night. And I'm going to see how I have to do this, because the startup of the stream was a bit much. Now I'll see if I can turn this thing off again. So bear with me if it doesn't work. Let's see. Aha.
Welcome to the studio where colors come alive, where miniature worlds and ancient tales thrive. Brush in hand, we paint what's been untold, legends of the past in hues so bold. In the depths of lore, we shade the unknown, angels and demons, old gods overthrown. With brain matter beige, our heroes shine bright. At miniature mythos, where dreams take flight, exploring hidden lore, where tales ignite. Painted models, shining bright, every color shared, every story sworn. At miniature mythos, where legends are born. Every figure crafted, from orcs to vampires bite. We blend the lore, let stories take flight. We wash in the weird, the wondrous, the wild, in every painted stroke where magic's compiled. Through realms unknown and mystical sights, our brush blends legends with epic fights. From shadowed myths to stars we trace, at miniature mythos we find our place. Exploring hidden lore where tales ignite. Painted models shining bright, every color shared, every story sworn. At miniature mythos where legends are born. From candles flicker to the screen's bright hue, we glaze through the fantastical view. Every layer of paint, every tale we weave. At miniature mythos, wonders never leave. Join the quest through realms of light and shade. In the world we craft, where dreams are laid. With lore and brushwork, our palette expands. At miniature mythos, where imagination stands. Exploring hidden lore, where tales ignite. Painted models, shining bright, every color shared, every story sworn. At miniature mythos, where legends are born. So grab your brush, let legends unfold.